I did not and do not celebrate Christmas, not only because I do not think it part of my tradition nor compatible with it, but because I fear it dilutes a strong Muslim identity, which has certain vital and necessary exclusivist features, which are central to a principled Unitarian monotheism. And then that's where he talks a little bit about shirk.
That's how cults work, right? I mean, you know
Yeah.
about that.
But I mean, also, like, in a certain sense, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the definition of in-group versus out-group identity. Like, an in-group identity is exclusivist. It by definition, we have to have things that define us as um, what our group is. But we can. It doesn't have to be this exclusivist. Like,
Yeah, it's I mean, I think that it's something that I've thought of for a very long time, but reading this really, it was an epiphany, sort of what I kind of seeing Armin go through that process right now, where that's it. This is what we need to do.
Yeah, this is actually what has been missing for the past decade in atheist activism, is the emotional side of this, right? Because a lot of atheist activism seems to be focused on you don't have evidence in your beliefs. Here's where your arguments are dumb. Stop believing, right? And yeah, but if you actually listen to a lot of people who are, even if they start noticing that there's holes in the narrative, yeah, I don't know if Ali knows the reference, but even the people who notice that,
I'll guess.
But if you listen to them and you see a lot of the resistance is, I grew up with this. This is my people. This is my community. This is my childhood. These are this is how we're defined as a people. This is how I see myself in the mirror. This represents who I am, who we are, which people I am supporting, and these are the people that see me as one of them. And if I stop doing these things, if I stop saying these things, where do I go to? Who accepts me? I feel like I belong to nowhere and no place and no one. And so it's just more of this. Sometimes they don't even say it that much, but you could see that that's the main resistance they're having. Like, this is who we are. This is my identity, right? So some of the resistance is not like, well, no, I have proof for Allah. I know, like, I have proof that this is a revelation of God. No, this is mostly the resistance. So if we could tell them, like, hey, you're noticing that there's some holes in the narrative. Don't worry. None of that has to go away. None of those things that you has to go away. Then more people, more of them would be willing to, like, well, maybe none of this is true. If you let them know that all the things that they hold dear doesn't have to go away, right? So this emotional, considering the emotional side of all this discussion, is something, because a lot of atheist activists consider themselves like very intelligent or rational, looking objectively as evidence, or like not being affected by emotions and stuff, and that's why they ignore this side of this whole equation. Okay, and I think that going after these traditions and celebrations and secularizing them is exactly, you're right, Ali. This is something that we need to now move forward with, and I want to know how. I want to know how we could be part of actually going forward with secularizing these things. So
I think that now, with 2021 coming, this is one thing we should focus. And we've actually talked about this before here. We've talked about. Here's the thing. You're absolutely right when you say that logic and reason, and we use that to try to deconvert people from religion. That's not the reason they got into it. Like, most of them were indoctrinated. It was associated with their memories, with their childhood, with how they grew up. Those are the things. If you don't dissociate those, it's going to be hard to dissociate anything else. Most of them don't even know about their beliefs. And if we know anything from, we just learned about it in the last 4 years. We know how demagoguery works. It is not reason and it's not truth that wins the day. It's who tells the best story and who tells it with the most charisma and the most bravado and the most sort of compelling kind of personality. That's how these things work. So when we have talked here in the past about the power of storytelling and the power of art, which are the things that, religion uses, emotional appeal, those things that you're saying, the Shia celebrations, getting people to cry. You tell them such a terrible, sad story, and they start crying their eyes out, and they start feeling for the characters, and you can wrap up any ideological belief in that, and you can deliver it to people, and it will be successfully delivered because you're appealing to their emotions. Right? Like the religions, when they use music, when they use art, calligraphy, the adhan, the tilawat, when they read out the melodically, just hymns, gospel choirs, all of this is exactly the art in the Vatican, right?
All right.
This is how those messages are delivered. They're delivered as in vehicles that hit the heart, right? That hit people's hearts. And that is what we're talking about here. Rituals are a huge part of that. The secularization of this ritual is a huge part of it, the emotional part.
Let's focus a little.
That's why I still love
Yeah.
Catholic art so much. Like the whole visual language of it is something I mean, also it's just how I was raised. It's something I know so well. So, and it's so dramatic. Yeah, it's the drama. It's the passion of it.
Yeah.
You just sent us in the chat something you wrote.
Bulbo sent us something. It's Bulbo.
Well, yes.
Oh no.
That's separate, though.
Oh, that's a separate thing.
Yes. Sorry, I can't change my name here, but yeah, there you go.
So, you sent us this article. Well, short write up that you did about secularizing Eid 2 years ago. Was there anything in particular you wanted to highlight about this?
Oh no, this was I just wanted to send it to the chat to people. It's something. It's when you were reading about that post about what he said about Abraham, the schizophrenic thing. So I had actually written that the problems with Eid, I celebrate Eid with my family, but there's some things, these are the ideological parts, I want to get rid of it. So I wrote, the first is the glamorization of its history rooted in the attempted murder of a child, because this day celebrates Abraham, who was a psychotic monster who decided to behead his own son because God, like an insecure high school girlfriend, told him he would like it if Abraham could prove his love for him this way. And so this delusional patriarch of the three great Abrahamic faiths, putting stock in the voices in his head, set out to murder his own child in a completely reprehensible and downright idiotic moment that adherents of all three of these great religions hold to be eternally sacred. And that's where it all came from. It came from like a complete psychotic break from what was probably a mythical figure.
Hey guys, if you want to join these streams live, get your comments and questions read by Ali and Armin and the guests, and most importantly, to get full access to the full video versions of all these episodes, become a patron. Link in the description below.